Good morning, it's Monday, it's 11 o'clock, so it's time for my Monday Make feature. I've brought you out into my little back courtyard this morning for something a little bit different. For those of you who don't know, I used to work for the Forestry Commission about 11 years ago, and one of the jobs I had was to take children out into the woods and do all sorts of activities like den building and bug hunting, but we also got to do some creative activities as well. So something that I used to do was a natural bookmark, and so we're going to be looking at creating our own little natural bookmark. But we're going to be looking at the work of somebody called Bridget Beth Collins. Now, she's an American artist and she's alive. A lot of the artists that we've looked at before have all passed away, but she creates the most beautiful creations just using natural materials, so petals and leaves. And so I've got some of her work here just to show you. So this is just such a lovely, charming little picture of a house and with trees, but it's all made up of flowers and petals. And then another example is this butterfly, and again made out of lots of petals and things that she's found on her walks. So that's what I suggest you do for this Monday Make. You need to go for a walk and gather up lots of beautiful resources, but you will also need some white card and some double-sided tape. What you need to do is create yourself a bookmark by cutting a strip of cardboard, white card, and then you're going to stick a piece of double-sided sticky tape onto the top through the middle. Now I'm suggesting making bookmarks, so that's quite a small thing, but if you wanted to, you could create something bigger if you've got more masking double-sided sticky tape and do a bigger piece. Or if you wanted to, you don't necessarily have to stick things down. Like Beth's work, she just places things and then she takes a photograph. So if you haven't got double-sided sticky tape, then just play around with the things, the petals and the plants that you can find, and don't necessarily stick them down. The one thing I would say though is if you're going to go for a walk, there's a few things that you want to try and avoid picking because it might give you a tummy ache. So something like a foxglove, which although is beautiful and is my favourite colour, a raspberry pink, that may give you a tummy ache if you pick it. So avoid foxgloves. And another thing, whenever I took children out with the Forestry Commission, was a plant that I used to tell them to avoid was something called ragwort, which is a yellow plant which will make cows and horses very poorly. So if that's going to do that to a cow or a horse, I could imagine it's going to make you feel pretty sick too. So avoid ragwort as well. So gather up loads of little resources. So as you can see, I've already collected some of these things, and I haven't gone for a walk, I've just picked these up from my garden. Now what you're going to do is, if you're going to do a bookmark using double-sided sticky tape, you're going to peel off your top layer of your double-sided sticky tape, and then what you can do is start playing around with the patterns and the shapes that you've got with your leaves, and start sticking them down onto the double-sided sticky tape like this. And you could just make a pattern by just arranging the petals and the leaves that you find, and it's quite fiddly. You're going to be using your very sort of fine motor skills by pinching things and sticking them down onto the double-sided sticky tape. Oh, I've had a little gust of wind there and I've just lost a couple of pieces. It's a bit breezy out here today. I'll just pick those up. So it's quite easy to stick your pieces down onto the sticky. So once you've got going, you can then start really looking at Bridget Beth Collins and all the things that she's created. Now here's one that I've created using a dandelion. So this is my my dandelion lion, just using little ivy leaves and bits that you get from a dandelion. Then this one here is just more of a pattern. And if I just fish out the ones that have fallen on the floor so that I can show you these. Another little pattern there. And then this one is my kind of flamenco lady with like a beautiful dress made out of pansy petals. So you can sort of really get creative. Now kids, before you start going and picking parents or carers beautiful flowers, just check and make sure that you are allowed to pick them before you start raiding pots in the garden. So maybe you can have the odd one or two just to add a little bit more colour to your creations, but I would just ask, because I don't want you to get into trouble. But again, like I said, if you haven't got double-sided sticky tape, just get a piece of white paper so you've got a lovely plain white background, and then you can just arrange all your pieces that you find into some beautiful patterns. And if you use Instagram, go and have a look at Flora Forager, which is Bridget Beth Collins Instagram, and you will be blown away by how beautiful her little creations are. So there we go, that's this week's Monday Make. I hope that's inspired your creativity and given you something a little bit different to do, which isn't drawing. And as usual, I love seeing what you create, so send me your photos and I will share them on Facebook for you. Okay, that's it for this week, and I'll be back next week with another idea for you. Take care, bye bye.